Hello, this is Louisville Now. I'm Gary White with Metro TV, and public safety is one of Mayor Craig Greenberg's top priorities, and we're going to be speaking about that with Josh Crawford, who is the director for the Group Violence Intervention for the city of Louisville. Group violence intervention is one of the Safe Louisville priorities, correct?
Correct.
So thank you for being here with us, Josh.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little about group violence intervention, if you would.
Yeah, so we're a collaborative approach that focuses on the gangs, groups, and juveniles driving violence in our city. And we leverage three pillars to try to reduce that violence. The first is what we refer to as the community moral voice. So this is in neighborhoods that Louisvillians think of as violent. The truth is that the overwhelming majority of residents are law-abiding citizens who are just trying to live their lives and create better lives for their kids than they had. But there's a small number of individuals that are driving violence and making life very difficult for everyone else. We leverage those majority of citizens to articulate that violence is unacceptable, that the level of violence in the neighborhood is unacceptable, and that they are in control of the neighborhood, not the small number of individuals who are driving the violence. The second component is a social service component. So for those individuals and group members who may want to leave the street lifestyle behind, may have a desire to better themselves, we have a suite of resources that are available through partner nonprofits as well as other city agencies that can help individuals get everything from various types of therapy to job training and a bunch of things in between there to try to get out of that life and better their life. And the final component is that strong arm of law enforcement. So we're very direct in that we know what these groups are doing, we know how they're driving violence, and that the violence must stop. And if that stops because there's a genuine change of heart that comes from that community moral voice, wonderful. If that stops because these individuals get into social services and better their lives, wonderful. But if neither of those things happen and the violence continues, then we leverage law enforcement partners to tamp down that violence.
And what got you involved with group violence intervention?
Yeah, so for the better part of the last decade, I have been working in think tanks across the country, researching and writing in both technical forms and in popular formats about group violence, gang violence in particular, public policy around criminal justice. I've had the opportunity to work with city, state, and federal leaders all over the country to craft policy and work on policy to reduce this kind of violence. And Louisville's my home, and so the opportunity to do that here in a way that's a bit more intimate, that is more directly related to my everyday life, was an opportunity I couldn't pass up.
And you moved to Louisville in 2016, did you say?
That's correct.
Okay. And you have been involved in this type of work since then with some other projects locally here in Louisville, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So through the role at various think tanks, I've had the opportunity to work with policymakers on legislation at the state and city and again federal level, but locally have been on the board of 2X Game Changers, served as chairman for a period of time, and remain on that board. And we work directly with the kids who are impacted by this violence on a day-to-day basis. People think of violent crime victimization in a very narrow sense. They think of whomever is the literal victim of a crime. Sometimes we go as far as to think of victims as the people who are in an immediate household or a person who lost a loved one to violence. And those are appropriate ways to think about victims. But the truth is that the kids who grow up in these neighborhoods who are exposed to violence on a regular basis, that ends up negatively impacting them in a wide array of outcomes, on everything from educational outcomes, behavioral outcomes, to long-term upward economic mobility. And so at 2X Game Changers, we really focus on those kids who come from those neighborhoods, come from those environments, and try to set them on a positive pathway.
Right. So what are some of your goals for group violence intervention here with the city?
Look, the way that my tenure in this role can and should be judged is whether we drive down shootings and homicides. That is goal number one. This is a city that has seen a pretty substantial increase in those in the last decade. We're headed in a positive direction, have been headed in a positive direction for about a year and a half now. We want to continue that momentum, build on it, and drive down those homicides and those non-fatal shootings even more. But what we really want to do is reach the people that we need to reach the groups that we need to reach, deliver those three-pronged message, and then make good on those messages. If it's the law enforcement component that we need to make good on, we need to make sure that we're making good on that. If it's the social service component, we need to make sure we're making good on that. And so the neighborhoods of Louisville belong to the people of Louisville, not the very small number of individuals and groups that cause chaos and sow violence in these neighborhoods.
And last week we were at Feed Louisville here in Louisville, which I know works with the department there on lots of different programs also. So that's part of the community outreach, because it is something that the community has to get invested and involved in to make this work. Is that correct?
No, absolutely. In place-based criminology, there's this concept of sort of community and the ability of the community to take ownership of the community. And in neighborhoods that don't deal with high rates of violence, you have sort of this interdependence of neighborhoods. You have neighbors who are looking out for neighbors and neighbors who protect and establish the social norms of those neighborhoods. In neighborhoods that do deal with high rates of violence, you're less likely to see those things, not because people don't have those desires, not because people don't want those things, not because people don't try to achieve those things, but it's remarkably difficult to achieve those things in an environment in which violence is more common. And so our role is to tamp down that violence so that the community can reestablish itself as the dominant force.
And it's group violence intervention, but you're mentioning that you deal with gangs as well. Is there a difference when you're dealing with groups, gangs, or is that kind of synonymous?
Yeah, so a gang has a statutory definition attached to it. It has academic definitions attached to it. It also elicits a particular image in people's heads. They think of large hierarchical groups that hold themselves out with a particular name, perhaps particular colors, particular symbols, those kinds of things. That is absolutely part of what we deal with, but we also deal with what we would call cliques or crews. These are smaller, less hierarchical. Sometimes they're referred to as hybrid gangs. There's less loyalty, there's less familial longevity, those kinds of things, but they're all what we refer to as street groups. And so group is sort of a catch-all term for everything from highly structured and hierarchical gangs to cliques and crews that are less structured and hierarchical.
And as we mentioned, Mayor Craig Greenberg is working on his Safe Louisville program. This is part of that initiative to make sure that is a success. If people want some more information, how can they find that?
Yeah, so our website has a good bit of that information. We're also going to be revamping a lot of that with even more information. A big part of my priority in coming on as director is more robust collaboration as well as more robust data collection and dissemination. We obviously can't disseminate law enforcement sensitive information, but in aggregate forms and de-identified ways, we want to share with the public exactly what we're doing.
Great. Again, I'm talking with Josh Crawford, who is the new director for Group Violence Intervention here with the city. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
And we'll be back more here on Louisville Now. We're going to be talking about the suicide study that was done for the city. Stay with us on Louisville Now.
Copper wire theft is robbing us of our safety. Thieves are targeting our essential infrastructure, darkening roadways, disrupting emergency services, shutting down internet networks, and causing over $1 million in damages just last year. Copper wire theft is illegal. Mayor Craig Greenberg's Copper Wire Theft Task Force is getting results, but your help is needed. If you see something suspicious, call Crime Stoppers at 502-582-CLUE. You could get a $5,000 reward.
Welcome back to Louisville Now. Now I'm joined by Lakeisha Gardner, who is a suicide prevention coordinator with the Louisville Metro Public Health and Wellness. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to talk about a recent suicide fatality study that was done by the city. Can you tell us a little about this study?
Sure. In 2022, our local health department, the Louisville Metro Department of Public Health and Wellness, received American Rescue Plan funding, or ARP funding. And with this funding, we were able to develop the Jefferson County Suicide Fatality Review Work Group. This work group is comprised of professionals from various sectors across the community, from behavioral health, from higher education, public health, of course. And what we do is come together, review data on local suicides, identify trends or patterns in that data, and then develop recommendations. What has been critical to this work has been our health department's partnership with the Jefferson County Coroner's Office, and we are very grateful for that partnership. And because of this partnership, we were able to develop this report.
So what were some of the trends and information that you discovered?
Yes, so one of the key trends that was identified in this data from 2019 to 2023 is the number of men that were disproportionately impacted by suicide. In fact, nearly 80% of suicide decedents were men from 2020 to 2023. Also, firearms were common in over half of deaths by suicide. Occupation was interesting as well. Our construction and extraction industry was disproportionately impacted. We also saw that there were significant increases in our diverse populations. In fact, our African American population and our Latinx population experienced significant increases from 2019 to 2022. Another key pattern that we identified was a significant number of cases of suicide deaths in which a person was present either immediately before the person died by suicide or immediately after the death by suicide.
So what can the community get out of all this information? What can they be doing?
It is our hope that with this data, community partners will be able to take this information and synthesize it with their ongoing efforts. We want for this to be a community-based approach to suicide prevention. What we know is that trainings such as QPR, question, persuade, refer, gatekeeper trainings are critical in this prevention, and we know that if we give that information to community, people are more likely to identify risk and warning signs.
So this study was done around the time primarily of COVID impact, correct? What you're talking about. So one of the things I found very interesting when I was looking at the press release and the information was the person present.
Yes.
With that was about 32% or something like that, I feel, correct? Now, as I'm thinking about it, I wonder if the fact that people were home and together could have been a factor on that as well. So now that you have this information, will the health department develop strategies for prevention out of that? Is that the purpose of the study as well?
Our purpose is to develop the recommendations listed in the report. Key to those recommendations, as I've just mentioned, were the trainings. We know that ensuring that people have trainings that are available to prevent suicide is key, but also we want to make sure that those trainings are culturally informed. As I mentioned, we've seen significant increases in our Latinx and African American population. So we want to be sure that these trainings offer a culturally informed lens that lends people the guidance and information that they need. Also, we want to focus on resources that are currently available. We want to encourage people to contact 988, our National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, if they or someone else that they feel are in need of support or just need someone to talk to.
And was age a factor in this as well? Was there any information on the age of the individuals with suicide?
Ages varied depending on gender and the identity, racial or ethnic identity of the decedents. However, we did see some critical areas where we can address ages of decedents as well.
Absolutely. And you did mention the sex of the individual as well, and I think I was reading that it went from 67 to about 80% of the individuals with suicide. So it's something that we definitely need to get more information out there for and prevention on for, and I know the health department is working on that. We appreciate the study. Are there plans for doing another study in the future?
The Jefferson County Suicide Fatality Review Work Group will continue this work. We will continue to review data on local deaths by suicide. We will continue to develop recommendations that can be embraced by the community so that the community can synthesize this information with their ongoing efforts. And we'll continue to share this information with the public so that people know exactly what the landscape of suicide looks like in our local community.
Again, thank you very much. I've been talking with Lakeisha Gardner, who is a suicide prevention coordinator with Louisville Metro Health Department, Department of Public Health and Wellness. So thank you very much. We're going to be back here on Louisville Now. We're going to be celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and we'll have somebody here with the Louisville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Stay with us.
This new headquarters is more than just walls and windows. It's a symbol of stability, a symbol of trust, and a symbol of our unwavering commitment to the people of Louisville and our presence in this community. This place will be, for our entire lifetime, the headquarters of Louisville Metro Police Department. The place where officers and professional staff will come every single day to work and focus on the community, to lead and set clear vision and strategy, and where the community gets to see its police department. And while we are home again, we are not done. As of today, this building will be open to the chief staff, human resources, the public information office, as well as the performance division and a few others. But over the coming years, you will see about 60% of the police department move into this building, from investigators to downtown area patrol and many others. And we are excited for what will come over the coming few years. We renew the promise of our mission to enhance the safety and quality of life for all people by enforcing the law and preserving peace while holding ourselves to the highest ethical standards.
It's an especially important day today. We expect our police department to be the best. And if we expect our police department to be the best, we have to support the hardworking men and women of our police department with the best. And today's building is another step in that direction.
So the symbolism of flag raising means that the building is occupied and we are officially open. So it's time to get to work. Thank you all for being here.
Corey Michael Crow, his nickname was Ace. Very confident, very self-determined, and he loved people. He was found in a car. We believe it may have been the company that he kept or somebody that he trusted that maybe he should not have trusted. He's just the missing piece to my puzzle. Just one piece of the puzzle missing. The puzzle's not the same. One bad choice could change your life forever.
Hello, welcome back to Louisville Now. I'm Gary White with Metro TV, and we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, which actually goes from September 15th through October 15th. And in order to celebrate, we have with us Alejandro Poza, who is the board chair for the Louisville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, Gary, and good morning to you.
Good morning to you. So, as I mentioned, it's Latin American and Hispanic Heritage Month that we're celebrating right now. Tell us a little bit about the Louisville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, if you would.
Sure. So we are the longest-standing Chamber of Commerce here in our region, the longest-standing Hispanic Chamber of Commerce here in our region. We were formed in 2014. Okay. We have 3 pillars. Those are network, education, and advocacy. Network is pretty straightforward. You know, it's a space to network. Education depends on our members and what they're interested in at that time. Typically, it revolves around leadership, marketing, real estate have been some of those topics. And then advocacy is just advocating for our community.
Wonderful. So when you're doing some networking, you have different events that people can attend, correct?
Yes.
So tell us about some of the events that you take part with.
Sure. So in regards to our event, we just finished one here on the 25th of September. That was around leadership and the heritage and how that informs your leadership style. It was a panel event. And upcoming in Q1, we're going to have our tequila, tacos, and taxes. It's our way of making taxes entertaining, or as entertaining as they can.
Right.
And the concept is edutainment, right? So we provide education mixed in with the entertainment portion. So if you're an individual or a business owner and you have some curiosities as kind of how effective your taxes are, or you just have curiosities in general, if you could be doing something different or more in regards to your taxes, that would be a great event to attend.
I love that edutainment. That's great.
Yeah.
Good mashup there. So also with the tequila can help if you do your taxes and you're not happy with what you say.
Yeah.
That can be very helpful as well. So what do you think is the importance of having a chamber such as the Louisville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce?
I think it's incredibly important. It creates a safe space. What we aim to do is to create an environment that's culturally welcoming to Hispanic and Latin American professionals to be able to network and collaborate with each other. In our essence, we are a connector. So there's two ways that we primarily do that, through economic development and through cultural advocacy. Some examples of economic development would be make an introduction to some financial institutions, government agencies, universities, or give the member an opportunity to do some B2B or to connect with some major employers if that's something that they wish to do. In regards to the cultural advocacy, one of the ways that we do that is through workforce development or creating a voice for workforce development. A short example that I'll give to that, we have a large number of Latin Americans here in our city. And what we are trying to advocate for is for a portion of those individuals, they have advanced degrees from their native countries. And one of the things that we could do better with our business owners and as a city is to try to figure out ways that we can create recertification programs so that the individual works a bit closer to what they were back in their native country. And it provides a value to the business owner and to the city by having a higher value person working for that particular business, and in turn with the hope of creating greater value for the business and our community.
And how many members are there currently with the chamber?
There's a little bit over 100 members, yes.
That's great. And if somebody's interested in becoming a member, how do they go about doing that?
Sure. So the easiest way to contact us is to go to LouisvilleHCC.com. That's our website. You'll have a contact page there. You'll see our email and our phone number there as well.
Okay. Now tell us about some of the different members that you have in the chamber.
Yeah, so we have a good mix of members. Two that come to mind would be Pinnacle Sweets and Sweet Colada. Both of these members you can think of as a bakery mixed with a brunch spot. Mm-hmm. They are at different locations throughout our city. Pinnacle Sweet is located on Frankfurt Avenue. Sweet Colada is located on Logan Street. And they have both been in their brick and mortar space for less than a year. So any support that we can give them and that your audience can give them is going to be very foundational to the success that they have in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And on the website, is there information about all the different members as well?
There is some information in regards to the different members. We also have our contact, so that contact goes directly to us. So it's a pretty transparent way to connect with the chamber itself. I'll want to mention one of our bigger events that I didn't mention before is the Derby pitch. So we start planning that from right now. It happens during Derby week. But, you know, since it's a volunteer organization, it takes lots of months and lots of planning for that to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's been a very successful event. For the last 2 years, we've had growing attendance to that event. And just to your audience that may be a little bit curious about the event itself, you can think of it as 3 events in one. The first hours are workshops, so anything that the topics that the members want to learn about or the audience has said they want to learn about, we try to include it in that particular event itself. After the workshop, we do give some time for networking, so you can network with the people in the room and also the panelists or the workshop individual that gave the actual workshop. And then lastly, you get to hear from 3 local entrepreneurs and 3 national entrepreneurs. So it's a good event, yeah.
And they are actually pitching ideas.
Yes, they're
That's the
pitching.
idea.
They're pitching ideas. They're pitching their businesses. So it's a great opportunity to hear about some of the opportunities that we have here locally, and also some opportunities that are tied to the Latin American community on a national level. So if you're an investor, someone from corporate, or you're just someone that likes business and likes networking and collaborating with your community, that would be a great event for you to attend.
Great. Now, do you have to be a business owner in order to become a member of the Chamber of Commerce?
No, so that's a great point. So we have student memberships, individual memberships, and then corporate memberships, and small business will fall into that too. So anyone that would like to connect with the Louisville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we are open to those connections.
And as I mentioned, you're chairman of the board for the Louisville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So how has the chamber helped you?
So for me, in my actual job, I work as in community development outreach. So it has been very helpful to expand my network. It has been very helpful to provide me with leadership opportunities, but also to be an advocate for our community. Just be more aware of what is our city trying to do, be more aware of how can we help our nonprofits and our schools, and then how can we help our community overall. So.
Fantastic. Again, I'm talking with Alejandro Poza, who is the board chair for the Louisville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, but you can support the Chamber of Commerce all year long. They have some great events. Go to their website, find out more. Tell us one more time where they can do that.
LouisvilleHCC.com.
Wonderful. And this has been a Louisville Now. Thank you for being here. We'll be back with more in the future here on Louisville Now. Thank you.